So then what is he going to change?
I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a
cause you to
lawyer.
vote for him?
I don't know all the policy lingo and lawyer lingo. And
So what is he going to change?
I mean, you just have to go based on, I guess,
Vibes?
not necessarily vibes. I would say more,
Vibes.
Sure. I guess you could say vibes. I wouldn't really quote it that way, but
So you vote on vibes. Okay. Vibes, bro. Well, I'm going to kick you based on vibes. So we're going to move on to our next guest, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody give us a minute, y'all. Parker and Matt, hop in that queue. Let's go ahead and get them up here. And everybody tuning in from Parker's Live, welcome into the stream. Super good to see you all. Guys, everybody seriously do double tap, do send out this live, do it all, quite frankly. And now let's go and get that next guest up in here. If you are in the queue, guys, make sure that you did indeed vote for Trump. We're just looking for debates. You already know. Hello, Asher.
Yo.
What's going on, man? How old are you?
I am 19.
You're 19. What year are you born in?
2005.
Nice, man. Did you happen to vote for the Orange Menace?
You could call him that, but yes.
Thank you for the hat and mustache, Eha. So why the hell did you decide to vote for the worst presidential candidate in modern American history?
Well, specifically, I just wanted to tell you that Jesus loves you.
Galaxy. Okay,
And
well,
God is good. I hope you find the way.
So why do you vote for Trump? Are you too scared? He's too scared. Moving on to our next guest. Everybody do just give us a minute here. We got our next guest loading up into the queue. Everybody do just give us a minute, y'all. Thank you for that, my mustache. Rana Beats, what's going on? Did you vote for Trump?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I did.
Why the hell did you vote for the worst presidential candidate in modern American history?
Because I don't want to go to World War III.
Okay, well, actually, Trump puts us at the greatest threat of a third world war out of any modern presidency.
Nah, I think Kamala was.
Nope. Did Kamala want to invade a NATO-partnered country, which, by the way, if we end up invading Greenland, that will start World War III, as Denmark is in NATO and Denmark owns Greenland?
No, but she did want to.
Nope.
She did. No, she didn't. No, I didn't. I said she didn't do that. Right?
Yeah, that's something that Trump is doing right now.
But she did provoke Putin in Russia.
How?
She is responsible for the Ukrainian war. Yes, she is.
What'd she do to provoke Russia's invasion of Ukraine?
Well, she visited the Munich and gave that speech and undermined them and told Ukraine to be part of NATO.
Brian, thank you for the gym gun.
Therefore, inching closer and closer to Russia's border, therefore caused Putin to say, okay, I'm drawing the line now. Yeah.
Fun fact, Joy, thank you for the gym gun. If Putin drew the line for a war at a
Well, he actually
country...
drew it at Germany a long time ago, and we went over that. No, that's true.
What you're talking about was a NATO summit in the 80s where this one guy told Russia that NATO want to expand further to the east. It wasn't even a contract. And you want to know why NATO couldn't expand to the east back then?
Why should we? Why?
Because any further east... No, I want to ask you why couldn't we in the 80s?
No. Why? No. Why
just say you don't know, Rana. No. Because you made a point that we promised we wouldn't further expand towards the east, but that's not true. The reason why NATO couldn't expand towards the east in the 80s was because that's when Poland was under the USSR. We were as far east as we could go. If we expanded further to the east, we would be invading Russia. Additionally, if Putin drew this red line at Russia neighboring countries joining NATO as the start of a war, well, why didn't he start a war when Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia joined NATO? They also border Russia. Go ahead, Rana. You gotta unmute that mic, Pooks.
Ukraine's in its front yard. It's literally there's literally Russians and Ukraine saying we don't want to be part of NATO.
Okay.
So why are we inching more and more towards it? What are you talking about?
Why didn't Putin start a war with Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia when they're not
as close? Because they're not as close as Ukraine is.
Actually, yes, they are. They both.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're literally.
Yes, they are.
Ukraine is literally at the front door.
Yes, you understand that Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia also border Russia.
Why would Kamala go make those remarks against
You're not responding to what I'm saying. You have 5 seconds to respond to what I said before I kick you.
See, you don't want to hear the truth. That's why.
No, you don't want to respond to my arguments.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why.
You don't know why. So see how your
I don't
hypothesis
know
fails
why.
there?
No.
Also, I just want to put it out there that we've actually had a contractual agreement with Ukraine since the 90s through the Budapest Memorandum. Jenna, thank you for the meteor shower. That stated if Russia were to invade Ukraine, that we would defend them.
Yeah. Where does it say that
Grace,
we're
thank you
allowed
for the
to?
dollar on Venmo.
Where does it say we're allowed to provoke them?
Chelsea, thank you so much for the gym gun.
It doesn't, does it? So why did we?
Countries bordering Russia don't provoke Russia into starting a war for the
No,
reason
Kamala
that
Harris
you couldn't respond
specifically
to.
did. But Kamala
What
Harris
did she specifically say?
I just told you. She went to the Munich conference and literally spoke down on them, and invoking him. Yeah, provoking.
So wait,
provoking
like I need a quote.
Here, I'm gonna join my third account. Bear back.
I need a quote, Rana.
Go on the U.S.
No, I'm not. No, you're gonna give me the quote.
WhiteHouse.org.
You're gonna give me the
Go to
quote.
WhiteHouse.org.
Thank you for the galaxy.
WhiteHouse.org is not giving me a quote.
Her whole speech
It's also
is there.
WhiteHouse.gov.
Her whole speech is there.
So you do
The
your
whole
own
entire
homework
thing.
and you give me the quote.
The whole entire thing, you can go read it for yourself.
Rana, you're going to give me the quote from Kamala Harris that provoked Russia into invading Ukraine.
You really? I got to go look for it.
That's crazy that you have to do your own research for
I have
your
to
own
memorize
audience,
it. I have to
Yes,
memorize
you do
it?
have to. You do have to do research
Why
for
do I
your
have to
own
memorize
audience.
it? You can
Because
literally
you're
go
just
find it.
saying that
I'm
she
giving you
had
the
a
source.
quote that provoked Russia.
I'm giving
and
you the
no,
source,
You're
though.
not giving
You
me
can
a
go find
source.
it.
You're not giving me a source. Saying WhiteHouse.org.
WhiteHouse.gov. No,
Okay, first of all,
.gov.
exactly, it's .gov. So a website
Yeah,
isn't a
exactly.
source. If you want to mention a particular article on the website,
website's
that's
not a
fine, but I'm
source?
asking you for a
Are you
quote
dead ass?
from an article on the website. Yes, I am dead
You're
ass.
dead at the
Venus,
whole
thanks for the
entire
$5
speech.
on PayPal.
The whole entire speech.
You have to
She's
be more
literally
specific.
talking
You're
down-
being incredibly vague.
Well, oh my God, bro. So what? You want me to go look up a specific sentence she said?
Yes,
You can. It's the whole speech. Why is she over there in the first?
So then give me
place?
excerpts.
That's the real question.
So you
Why
can't
is she
give
over
me
there?
anything. Give me one reason why I shouldn't kick you. I'm being serious.
Okay, because she's incompetent. She thinks that Israel's our biggest adversary, and that's false. She's retarded. That's not right.
Okay,
That's not
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Using a slur is crazy. Plus, she doesn't think that. Like, we wish.
Yeah.
We fucking wish, dude.
Yeah, we fucking wish, man.
Jeez, bro.
Thomas, what's going on, man? Did you vote for Trump? By the way, I can't hear you now.
Hello there, my name is Malachi. What's up?
12 years old?
Oh, that's a fetus. Okay, moving on to our next guest. Yo, for the 4.9 thousand people joining us in the stream here today, guys, make sure that we are double tapping away on that phone screen and sharing the stream out with a handful of friends. If you want to support either three of us, our Venmo's, Cash Apps, PayPal's are all linked in the bio. But if we hyperfixate on spamming the likes right now, we would be up to 1 million likes in no time, quite frankly. That's right. Hello, Marvin. Did you vote for Trump?
When we travel, we get access to over 13.
Marvin, speak!
The capital.
All right, Marvin is sleeping. Banned. Moving on to our next guest. Everybody, do just give us a minute. We got Armchair CEO loading into the box. Banned. Hello. Did you vote for Trump?
Sorry, I missed the question. One more time. I was clicking off my screen.
I have a question. Are you from Canada?
No, I'm not.
Were you born in Quebec?
Nope.
Okay. And okay, go ahead. Why did you vote for Trump?
Well, it's funny you asked that because I actually live in like quite the opposite end of the country. I live in shithole South Texas, and I mean, it was really just the border stuff. Like I don't know. It's been a problem for like my entire life. So I don't know.
I have a question. Now, this is going to be a hard question. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this hard question. By the way, guys, if y'all could double tap up to 1 million likes in the next 5 minutes, we'll have another dance party. But here's a really hard question. What is Trump's policy to fix the southern border?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not like totally clear on it. I just know that there was a lot of problems. And
So
if,
you voted for Trump because you think he's going to fix the border, but you don't even know his policy for it. See, that's kind of a little bit...
well, I don't know it word for word.
Telling.
I mean, I don't know it like off the top of my head. I mean, I'm not
Give
like,
me like the general idea?
no, like, see, I'm super uneducated on it.
Yeah. So, I mean, off of vibes, bro.
Well, no, it's just more so like being down there in person. It just, Like it's really like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
this
yeah.
candidate is gonna help it, or this candidate is gonna help it more.
But
So I
you
just went
don't.
with
But
the
you don't know how to
candidate.
make that determination of who's going to help it more. Like you're literally once again just basing it off of vibes. Did someone in my chat just say Jill Stein 2028? Someone ban the Russian bot, please. Anyways, go back to what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of, it like, not like, it's more so in-person vibes. Like if you were down there, like if you go there in person, you're just like, wow, this needs immediate attention. So it's like, I went with the candidate who I thought.
But how the fuck do you know that he's going to give it immediate attention?
Well, we don't, but I'm saying it's more of a hoax. Like
Yeah, but why do you just think that he will be better for the border compared to Kamala Harris?
oh, I guess it was the wall.
The wall, okay. Did you know that he built less than 50 miles and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tried to build more than he did, but then he stopped them?
So I knew he didn't build much of it. I know a lot of it didn't really go up. I didn't know.
And
I
it
didn't
also
know how
didn't
much.
slow immigration at all. We only had increasing immigration numbers until Title 42 was signed.
The only good wall is the a Pink Floyd album.
Well, what are the estimates of the future? Like the next 4 years, that's what we're hoping is
We
immigration.
don't have estimates because we don't really even know what his policy is.
I thank you, Tree, for the $5. Thank you so much. I agree.
So do you have anything else to say, Armchair?
No, I mean, you guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
up,
thank you.
Armchair. We're going to move on to the next guest, ladies and gentlemen. If you're one of the 5.4 thousand people in here and you did vote for Trump, make sure to hop into that queue,
It
y'all.
says 5.2 for me.
It says
Hop
5.
hop in.
It says 5.4 for me, man.
Yeah, it says 5.4.
5.3 for me.
Yo, Pamela, you vote for Trump? Banned. Moving on to our next guest. Just give us a minute. Banned. Chelsea, thank you for the 2025 glasses. Nico, what's up? You vote for
Hey
Trump?
there, can you all hear me?
Nope.
Sure can.
Cool. Well, I think there's a lot of different reasons we voted for Trump. I would say probably mine would be economy, taxes, that nature.
Okay, so why do you think Trump will be better for the economy compared to Harris? How about you break down their economic policy and you explain to me why his is better?
Well, first of all, Trump's tax cuts are expiring at the end of the year, and I have confidence that he will not only extend them, but actually increase some of the tax cuts that he promised on the campaign trail.
So like what?
For whom?
Well, so the tax cuts Trump did cut taxes for everybody. I know everybody says that only the rich got them, but that's just not true. So he
They
could
definitely
extend them.
benefited a whole lot more. People making over $500,000 a year proportionately benefited the most. Meanwhile, people making under $50,000 benefited the least. Not to mention that it led to close to no GDP growth, harming American producers that are predominantly reliant on exports. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris wants to address what needs to be addressed right now, specifically after the pandemic, with a decrease in the purchasing power of the average American caused by inflation and so on. And her plan was going to cut taxes for 100 million American workers in that low and the middle class. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's plan is going to regressively impact them the most in a negative way.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to stay on income taxes, tax cuts first, because we could jump to 1,000 things. First of all, as a percentage of their income, the middle income earners actually had a higher tax cut than people who made more money. As a dollar amount, as a dollar amount figure, yes, when you cut somebody who makes more money,
93 for the superpower.
they're going to get a bigger dollar tax cut. But
What
relative
you just said was wrong. So 85% of the cuts in the bill went to people making over $500,000 a year. Meanwhile, they only pay 45% of taxes. So proportionally speaking, in consideration to their equivalent incomes, they still benefited twice as much.
From my understanding, when you look at income filers between $40,000, $50,000, they got a tax cut of roughly 18% relative to their actual taxable income versus people who made over $500,000. Yeah, their dollar amount cut was less, but as a percentage of their income, it was not close to that 18%. So you can't compare apples to oranges when people have different types of
Are
income.
you talking about personal income tax?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why we consider the entirety of the TCJA. Like, for instance, he increased the corporate tax rate to 21%.
Decreased.
Increase that for small businesses, because prior to the introduction of the TCJA, the corporate tax rate was staggered, but then he made it a flat rate, meaning that small businesses grossing $50K or under paid an additional 6% in corporate taxes. And once again, 85% of those cuts went to people at the top. The remainder went to the people at the bottom, disproportionately benefited them the most. But once again, all right, in this election, Kamala Harris's proposed tax policy was going to alleviate the financial stresses of those in the middle and low class through things such as vast increases in the child tax credit, $25,000 subsidy for first-time homebuyers buy newly developed properties, etc., capping the amount that any American citizen could pay out of pocket for private pharmaceuticals to $2,000 a year. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was just going to reinstitute that TCJA, just kind of continuing on the same income inequities that we've already seen.
All right. Can I
exacerbated for the last couple of years. That's why I think that she had better policy.
Can I get a few points in here? So first of all, Trump did double the child tax credit under the tax cuts, which everybody forgets to mention, which is a regressive in a good way towards lower income because there's an income cap on that, right?
So it's historically doubled every 10 years. It was also doubled under Bush. And Kamala
right, because he cut taxes.
Kamala Harris was going to take that and she was going to increase it even more. But he
wasn't. Yeah, and I don't disagree with her on that specific issue. But I'm talking about
tax policy
as a whole. I agree with everybody paying lower tax rates versus Kamala wanted to increase tax rates. Okay. Kamala wanted to increase taxes on the wealthy, on corporations. And if she didn't extend the tax cuts on everybody, which
do you understand the reason why she wanted to increase the corporate tax rate by 7% and introduce, like a potential quote unquote wealth tax on multi-millionaires? But according to
on capital gains taxes, not constitutional.
That wasn't even in her proposed policy. Was because that's how she was going to fund the tax cuts for members of the low and the middle class. Her tax cuts as a whole were estimated to cost $2.4 trillion by the CBO, and they were also estimated to increase revenue by $2.4 trillion by the CBO, making them self-sufficient. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's policy, on the other hand, was estimated to cost over $8 trillion over the course of 10 years. Nico, where's that money going to come from?
First of all, we can quote these CBO scores that never end up actually coming to fruition. When Trump cut taxes in 2017 at $3.5 trillion of government revenue, as of today, our government revenue is over 4.5%. So
but that's not caused by
let me get one point in, dude. Just one point. I feel that the government agencies, CBO, whatnot, they don't score the economic dynamic of tax cuts to economic growth the way I or conservatives tend to actually see the impact of it. So
the TCJA only led to a 0.02% increase in our GDP per year, only generated.
That's not true. So under Obama,
it is true. And if you'd like a source, feel free to look up macroeconomic impacts of the 2017 tax reform.
Let me get a point, dude.
I was in the middle of a point and you interrupted me by saying that's not true. The point I was trying to make was that the TCJA only caused an increase in our GDP by about 0.02% per year, which would equate to about $10 billion.
It's actually 0.04. 0.04, which is 10 million.
I would like to get a point across if I can, and I appreciate you guys being civil and stuff because I've listened to these debates before and it's like nothing's actually being spoken.
So they
under Obama, GDP average about 2%, give or take, right? Under Trump, pre-COVID, we can have the whole debate, whatever. He was at 2.5%, which is a 25% boost to the average GDP rate. So you can say that's not a big deal, but 25% increase in
the claim is it wasn't caused by the TCGA, because when we isolate for the economic impacts of the TCGA, what we see from a Brookings study is that it led to no new macro level business investment from Brookings, and we see that it only led to a 0.04% increase in our GDP per year from a study done by two Harvard professors in economics, one right-leaning and one left-leaning. Okay. Would you be able to give me any competing studies that would isolate for the consequences of the TCGA to demonstrate that I'm incorrect?
I'm not as interested in isolating it. I'm more interested in what the actual results of the economy did during that period.
Okay, so if you just want to assume that anything that happens in the economy on the macro scale is caused by his policy, would you say that Trump's policy also caused the 14.8% rate of unemployment at the end of his term in April of 2020?
From COVID?
Oh, no, it was caused by his policy because it happened under his administration, just like you just said, right? Or now, do you want to point out external variables that can cause and influence things in our economy, which means we have to isolate for those external variables through the use of demonstrating the actual consequence of the policy?
If you want to make an argument that cutting taxes for every income group across the board did not help the economy overall, then you can make that point. If that's the one you want to go with. If you think it's better off that we
I
didn't cut
isolated
taxes-
you with two studies, a Brookings study and a study from two Harvard economic professors. Brookings study showed that it led to no new macro level business investment.
Right,
And
nothing.
the study
Yep.
from the two Harvard professors indicated that it only led to a 0.04% increase in our GDP per year. And you can't offer me any competing evidence to demonstrate that that's not true. And your only argument is just to assume whatever happened in the country under his presidency was caused by his policy, which yields incredibly absurd conclusions that you disagree with, such as the idea that he caused the 100-year record high level of unemployment at the end of his term.
What I'm more focused on is where you can actually isolate the individual impact to people based on the tax cuts. And I'm not as interested in what two professors are going to say from random studies, because people can have their own opinions and their own studies. I like that Trump cut taxes for the middle class.
Wait, but you were
do
talking
you
about
think-
the GDP growth that it caused, though. Did you not try to point out, like, this idea that it led to, like, monumental GDP growth? That's
And
that's
also,
a
just
point
by
that
the
you
way,
made. That's
I'm
wrong.
not going to say it's
Study
the
is
only
not like
thing.
some guy's opinion, by the way.
I'm not going to say it's the only thing. Did it help that direction? Of course, I would say it helped in that direction. Am I going to give you a study that says everything that increased GDP under Trump was only from the Trump tax cuts? No, I'm not going to say that.
Well, what the fact of the matter is it only increased government revenues by about $10 billion per year.
That's not true. What?
It is, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that is
it's not true because it's less than two. It's less than 2 billion in federal revenues. It's 10
Fuck.
billion in GDP.
Ah, no, I was giving you. Yeah, thanks for pointing out that I was wrong, Nico. I'm sorry, man. I was wrong. That wasn't true. You're right. I gave you the wrong stat.
I think to be able to say that the Trump tax cuts as a whole did not create an environment that helped the economy grow faster than it was prior, I just think is a naive perspective.
By $10 billion in GDP.
Yeah.
10
Yeah,
billion
yeah,
each
Except
year.
that you're
It did.
giving us opinion, we're giving you actual stats and facts.
And like, I get it. Like, sure, technically it did lead to that very marginal increase, but it is a bad bill for the reason that it would cost close to $2 trillion. Like, no.
Yeah,
investing-
$190 billion of debt-related spending every year for what, $10 billion in GDP growth, less than $2 billion in federal revenues? That's dog shit.
Yeah, like, no wonder this guy has 6 bankruptcies, right? Like, let's
I'm
be
going to
real.
make the argument that if Trump did not cut taxes at all, that we would have not seen to the extent the acceleration that we did prior. I'm not going to be able to
By
put
less
people-
than $10 billion in annual GDP.
Right,
We could have
yeah.
taken that $190 billion of debt-related spending, and we could have put it into something else. And that would have caused more growth.
Yeah, the issue with the TCJA was the opportunity cost. Like, for instance, if I take every dollar in my bank account and I spend it on a business model that only generates, like literally like 10% of it per year, if not less, like that's going to be a bad business investment. And I'm a failed entrepreneur. However, one can make the argument that if I didn't take every dollar in my bank account and do that, I wouldn't have had like accelerated income, right? Assuming that I didn't have a job prior to when I invested that money. But it was still a bad investment.
I look at the specific policy within the tax cuts, and my conclusion is that the environment created helped accelerate the economy that we saw. If
Okay,
you
but
want
you're
to
not
know,
actually
give me-
rebuttaling
give
any
me a
of our
point.
points. Now I'm
if
annoyed.
you really think that
Now I'm annoyed. You're not addressing the fact that it only added $10 billion to the GDP and $2 billion in federal income growth.
Oh, we got to do our dance party.
Yeah, you're also not recognizing the fact that it cost close to $2 trillion for 10 years, making a very bad investment with a low yield. You're not addressing any of these facts. So are you actually going to respond to what we're saying? Or are you just going to sit here and continue to reiterate the same line that we've already responded to 10 times?
Well, I have a question. How can a tax cut that cut taxes over $2 trillion over a decade only spur $10 billion of revenue? How does that math add up? Because there has to be a cost.
Yeah,
of lost revenue.
well, then go read the macroeconomic impacts. Go read the study, all 38 pages of it.
effect of the
2017
tax reform bill.
And don't hear it from me. Hear it straight from these two economic professors that are bipartisan. Go do it, man. I implore you to do some research.
So I guess a question for you guys, and I'm being sincere here. Would you guys have preferred that Kamala would win this year, all else equal, she did not extend the tax cuts, which would have raised taxes on Americans by $2 trillion? Would that have been a better
So
outcome?
once again, Kamala Harris's proposed tax policy was to extend the TCJA, then modulate it in the ways that I've already named. So she's going to extend the current tax cuts while making it better to serve to the average American with another $2.4 trillion worth of tax cuts just for them.
What are the specific tax cuts, like lowering the rates, or I know the child tax credit, yes, but what are the other like tax
Increases in the child tax credit, limiting the amount that any American citizen can pay out of pocket for private pharmaceuticals to $2,000 a year, $25,000 subsidy for first-time home buyers buying newly developed properties, alongside a multiplicity of other things.
All right. Well, one quick thing on the house thing, if I can. You just assume that $25,000 subsidy equals a $25,000 cheaper house, and that's just not the case. You can't just assume that one for one.
Why do you think I make that assumption?
Because you just said that she's going to be cutting taxes in effect of helping people by making housing more affordable.
I said she's going to make housing more affordable through offering this $25,000 subsidy. That doesn't necessarily imply that I assume that that'll cut the price by $25,000. In fact, I know that's not the case. The point of the subsidy was to spur new demand for new construction, meaning that more developers will go out there and build new houses. It was estimated that there'd be an additional 2 to 3 million new houses in the next 48 years, right? And obviously, they'd marginally increase the price of new development. However, that would have been offset given the $25,000 subsidy. So in the short term, it would have created new houses and made them more affordable.
Yeah, but wouldn't
$25,000 more affordable. Well, in the long term, after the subsidy is done and that artificial demand diminishes, we'll have more houses in the overall supply, making them more affordable than they are now.
Well, first of all, wouldn't boosting demand via a subsidy increase demand, not supply of houses, which would actually increase housing costs?
Wait, repeat. Are you talking about a $25,000 tax credit for first-time homebuyers for new homes? So the reason why it specifically wouldn't yield what you're referencing in the way that you think it would, in a negative context, is because it is the case that it would cause an increase in the amount of already built homes, which would decrease the price of already built homes because of the increase in supply. Now, there would be an increase in price on newly built homes, right? And that's specifically purposeful to increase and incentivize suppliers to produce in places where people want to live. But the point that is good is that it doesn't make it less affordable because people get the tax credit. So for people who are buying new homes, there's a tax credit to offset the increase in price. And then for houses that have already been built, there's going to be a decrease in the price because of the increase in supply, which in the long run will lead to a reduction in the price of both new and old homes.
I guess I'm not understanding how increasing the demand side of the equation will increase the supply side when it...
Let me explain. So when there is a greater level of demand for a particular good, there is then an incentive for more suppliers to produce because of the higher price that would exist.
Well,
when there's a higher price, there's more supplied, more quantity supplied. That's just basic economics. Economics 101.
If tomorrow everybody in America no longer demanded Oreos, what would happen to the overall Oreo supply? Would it go down?
The supply would go up because nobody's buying them.
No, that makes no. So listen. So
nobody would be making them because nobody's buying them. Yes,
exactly. So when demand goes down, supply goes down. So if demand goes up, what happens to supply?
I think that's a correlation that can't necessarily be made because look at the past couple of years with housing prices going up.
No, Nico. It's a fact within economics.
So housing has gone up the past couple of years, right?
Nico, can I explain? I just explained it to you. I'll explain it one more time. It's a fact within economics. If there's a greater price for a particular good, there's a greater incentive for the supplier to produce that good because they will make more profit off of it.
Why has that not happened the past 3 years with housing up 50%?
So what you're not understanding is that's going to be on the production cost side. So production costs being more expensive disincentivizes the production of housing. If the price increases because of demand, well, then that's going to increase the incentive to produce. So do you understand the distinction between the price of housing going up because of demand increase versus the price of housing going up because of an increase in the cost of production, which the cost of production increase would actually come from Donald Trump's tariffs?
Yep.
So I would argue that housing demand went up the past couple of years, at least in the beginning with COVID, with the interest rates coming down, which was a boost to demand. I just don't see the tap how it specifically directly will impact supply. Why not make incentive for home builders in terms of tax credits or something on the home builder side to actually have incentive or reform permits?
That's actually what we're doing.
Yeah, but you're
the tax credit being given to the demander is a tax credit that is going to help the supplier. The reason why that's going to help the supplier specifically is because it's going to provide a greater incentive for them to produce because there's a higher price for newly built houses. And
listen,
we're offsetting the higher price for newly built houses by giving the tax credit to the consumer.
I have an analogy.
One second. If you just gave it to the producer, then the consumer wouldn't have the benefit of specifically the tax credit to reduce the cost of price for houses when they buy it.
Yeah, and I have an analogy. So basically, it's helping the consumer out in the long term, but also in the short term. A good analogy to kind of run his point home. Imagine there's a grocery store that only accepts EBT, right? And let's say for the first 3 years, the government isn't giving anybody EBT. So obviously that grocery store is not going to be producing any goods to sell. Now, the next 3 years, the government gives everybody infinite EBT, right? Well, what's going to happen to that grocery store? All of a sudden, they're going to be producing out the fucking bosom to provide to all of these individuals that now want to buy from their service. And, that's like a more simplistic version of essentially what this $25,000 subsidy for first-time home buyers would be. Katie, leave the $5 on Vim. I appreciate you.
I get where you guys are coming from, but I would have thought we would have seen some of this over the past couple of years. If housing went up 50%, why didn't these home builders go, geez, we can get 50% more for these houses. Why aren't we building?
Nico, I'm sorry. I'm going to explain to him one more time. I just explained this to you, Nico, so please understand the distinction. There's a distinction in the price going up on the basis of production costs versus the price going up because of demand. If the price goes up because of demand, that creates a greater incentive for suppliers to produce, right? Because they will make more profit off of. If the price goes up because of production costs, there is a disincentive for the supplier to produce. And the reason why there's a disincentive for the supplier to produce is because it costs more for them to produce, and their good is going to be demanded less because it's at a higher price for the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the way that's offset with the tax credit is by giving the tax credit to the consumer.
Wait, then also you should understand exactly what Parker's describing to you right now if you support Trump's tariffs. Because that's what a tariff tries to do. It tries to artificially boost the price of goods imported from other countries to disincentivize the consumer from buying them while giving lower profit margins to the individuals that are selling them.
Right. So 2 quick things. One, we're going to talk about tariffs. It's entirely different. I'm more targeted than blanket. It's a whole conversation.
But like the fact of the matter is, like, the essential part of tariffs that makes them like attractive to you and other Trump supporters is exactly why there has been not as many companies producing new houses during the last couple of years and less people demanding them.
I just disagree that the entire reason housing demand or home prices went up the past couple of years is because of goods supply, where I can make the exact same argument that dropping interest rates to 0 to 30, 40 or lower mortgage rates is on the supply side, is on the demand side of housing.
Wait, so you disagree with the idea that the reason why housing prices have increased, that one of the reasons why and a major contributing factor is because supply has been in such low demand or
no,
has been in such low numbers?
I would say it was contributing. I just, from Parker's point of view, it sounded like he said the entire reason.
No, he didn't say that.
No, and like we're just going to be like evaluating this specific reason.
Right.
Because you brought up the housing market over the last 4 years, which, by the way, isn't
that's
discussion about her $25,000 subsidy and the effect that it will yield.
Right. Well, I mean, we're just going to have to disagree on it because I see other variables impacting housing, and I think there's more
other variables impacted housing in the last 4 years, Nico. We're talking about the efficacy of a $25,000 tax subsidy for first-time homebuyers by newly developed properties, and if that will yield an effective outcome. That is not impeded upon, given the reasons why housing prices have gone up the last 4 years.
Yeah, and we could even talk about like other, I mean, not that we were, but talk about other, I mean, like Trump wants to tax lumber from Canada. One of the reasons that housing prices went up, one of the reasons was because lumber cost more. And so thus the cost to build houses cost more. Okay, well, but Trump wants to reimpose those tariffs on lumber, so housing prices will continue to go up.
Well, can you explain to me how like variables that have impacted why the price of housing has gone up over the course of the last 4 years has anything to do with if the $25,000 subsidy will or won't work?
Yes, because from my perspective, when you are isolating the $25,000 issue, you guys are just, I just see as you guys are assuming that is going to directly flow to the supply side of the equation.
But I asked you a very specific question. you told us that we could agree to disagree because you think there's other reasons why the price of housing has gone up over the course of the last 4 years. What do like the variables that have impacted housing prices over the last 4 years have to do with the expected efficacy of a $25,000 subsidy now?
I guess the point I was trying to draw is that there's several variables to this, and I don't see the $25,000 thing being
okay. So then you would
part of
agree
that solution.
that reasons why houses got more expensive over the last 4 years have nothing to do with why I think her $25,000 subsidy is a good policy, right?
I guess I was trying to draw a correlation between what directs.
I asked you a very specific
supply versus
question.
demand.
Do you or do you not understand how those two things are unrelated?
I guess I was trying to draw a point, but it's not coming across.
Do you or do you not understand how those two things are unrelated, sir?
I was trying to draw a point, but we're just.
That's not what I'm at. I'm not asking you if you were trying to draw a point. I'm asking you if you do or don't understand that those two things are unrelated.
Sure, they're not related. Okay.
Okay, awesome. So then you have no counter argument.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I just want to move past this point because I just don't think we're going to be eye to eye on it.
What do you mean eye to eye? We literally just did. You just conceded.
Okay.
All right. So what's next?
I don't know. It's your guys' show. What else do you hate Trump on?
Dance party. I mean, what?
Well, I mean, is there?
Actually, I got a quick question. Like, I'm actually genuinely curious for you guys. With how the election turned out and, you know, the scale that he won, it's not a landslide. I'm not going to that point. But like the shift we saw, what do you guys genuinely contribute it to? Is it like
global inflation? I mean, we didn't just see the shift in our own country. We saw the shift in every country on earth. In fact, there's only few incumbents that won an election last year. 2024 was a major year for global elections. Very few incumbents won on the global scale.
That's right.
Okay. So would you say you would say that's the main issue, obviously not the issue, like the only issue, but
that's going to be the main issue.
That's a big contributing factor.
And like that's going to be indicated not just given the argument I just gave, but also that the fact that 33% of respondents to exit polls from polling booths on November 5th indicated the reason they voted for Trump compared to Biden was because of inflation in our own country for the last 4 years, granting that position more credence. It is definitely the main reason. However, it's obviously not the only reason.
Do you guys think that people could rationally conclude that yes, inflation was global, but that a lot of Biden's spending policies extrapolated and expedited that in an unnecessary fashion via 1.9 trillion? No.
So like, for instance, do you think that Biden caused more inflation than Trump?
I would say so, in the sense that Trump spent money in the middle and the bottom of the recession, where Biden spent money, I would say unnecessarily, post-recovery when we already had vaccines coming out. I don't see
if we cut COVID out of Trump's spending and include COVID in Biden's spending, Trump still spent more.
Yeah, but it's when in the economic cycle. If you're spending trillions at the bottom versus trillions on the back end.
Wait, do you think that the first 3 years of Trump's presidency was at the bottom?
No, I'm talking about like March through November of 2020.
Right, and I'm actually ignoring that. If I just said if we take COVID out of Trump's spending and include COVID in Biden and Harris's spending, Trump still spent more.
Trump had under $1 trillion deficits until COVID. Biden's had $1 trillion deficits his entire term. So what am I missing?
That doesn't change the fact that Donald Trump spent $8.6 trillion in debt-related
No,
spending.
I'm not going to make that argument.
Non-COVID-related. Meanwhile, Biden and Harris spent $4.6 trillion in non-COVID-related expenditure. Meanwhile, and 2.2 in non-COVID-related expenditure.
My understanding is that Trump did not have $1 trillion deficits until COVID, right? So 3 years would be $3 trillion. Post-COVID, Biden's had 3 years of multiple $1 trillion deficits.
But that's going to be influenced given external variables, because if we isolate for debt-related spending signed into law, Trump spend more.
I guess you're, in a way, though, my point, though, is that what Biden did right at the beginning of his term was not necessary, given where we were in the economy, recovering from COVID, pouring $1.9 trillion in additional spending.
It obviously demonstrated a positive empirical outcome, given the fact that we rebounded to a higher level proportionally speaking compared to any other country in the G7. Spooky, thank you for the second galaxy.
Sure. And
so like what I would expect if the second $1.9 trillion was unnecessary, I wouldn't have expected us to have the best rebound out of any other country in the G7.
That's not necessarily true because you can get economic activity in the short term from spending, but that doesn't mean inflation isn't impacted and long term isn't negatively impacted. Like government spending in the short term specifically does boost.
But I'm referencing inflation rates. Like our inflation rates rebounded better than any other country in the G7.
Correct, and I understand that.
Thank you for the $5 on Venmo.
But I'm saying in the upfront term.
So if Biden really fucked us over with a bunch of unnecessary spending, why did we rebound better than anyone else?
That's a great point. I'm sure it's more complicated than that, but I can understand what you're saying. I think there's a lot of factors as to why inflation came down, such as the Fed, where a lot of the inflation being caused up front was spending, right? Now, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even put a lot of this on Biden. I think a lot of the inflation issue was the Fed, but
yes, me too. We could agree.
You know what I mean? But do I think it was needed? Like, we were already recovering. People are taking the vaccine. I'm not even going to get into that conversation. Like, if you wanted the vaccine, get it. Like, why do we need to spend another $2 trillion? Like, unemployment's falling, jobs are growing. I just didn't see that being necessary for, like, what was the risk calculus of that? I just didn't see that being a benefit. And I think, you know, like, do we need the $2 trillion of debt too? I think we could have recovered, because we were recovering pretty steadily without that extra fuel on the fire, per se. This is my opinion.
Yeah, it's just an inconsequential argument because of the point that I just made. Like maybe if like we had like a suboptimal.
Dean, another thing I was going to bring up, the tax. I redid the math on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act thing that we always bring up. It's actually $8 billion in GDP, so it's $2 billion less than I thought.
Jesus Christ, bro. Can't make this shit up.
Can you read a little bit? Like, I'm actually really curious. Like, what are they deriving that from? I know that's a conclusion, but like, what are they saying? Like,
Madeline, thank you for the $1 on PayPal.
Like, how can 1.5 trillion tax cuts only spur $8 billion of additional economic activity? Like, I just can't buy that.
0.04%. So, like, the study says that it's 0.04% in annual GDP growth rate.
No, but how is it? Like, I want to understand how it's measuring that. Like, I know that's
capital framework, cost of capital framework.
I'm going to need you to read more into that.
Yeah, so it says specifically, we use a cost of capital framework to analyze the long-run steady state and transition path for the GDP as a result of the 2017 tax law.
Can you just do like independent research on that point? I feel like that's like too like hyper specific and niche. Just like
I understand,
but it is important.
Do you have the title, Nico? Do you have the title? I can tell you it.
Hold on, I'll actually look it up.
Like it is
the macroeconomic effects of the 2017 tax reform.
It is absolutely a good thing to research why certain things we say are true or false. So I'm not like stigmatizing you for that. But like
the
conversation about
Brookings.
Well, you can find it through Brookings, but it's from two Harvard professors.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's published by Brookings, so that's an official Brookings paper.
Oh, it's
I have it here.
It's public. Well,
I have it here.
Well, I see it through Brookings, but it's from.
No, it is. I have the official page.
When did this come out?
Published. It came out
2018? No.
2017.
2018, yeah.
So
2018.
Then I guess a question of mine is the tax cuts didn't really get enacted until 2018. So was this more of a forecast?
Yeah, this is what an estimate is. Mm-hmm.
Right. So this was a forecast. It doesn't.
So would you have any?
Yeah, we would still be in forecasting mode. We'd still be in forecasting mode because the entirety of the tax bill is not fallen through with.
Well, I would disagree because it's expiring this year, right? Like we have 6.
No. Only certain aspects of the bill are expiring.
Correct. But don't you think today,
bro, dude, if you're gonna discredit the study because it was a estimate, please do so with another study that is reliant on data that is
No,
already been
I
recorded that
totally
will refute
agree.
its findings.
I think my understanding was Park was quoting this study as if it happens last year, looking back to what the tax code said. It seems more to study as forecasting what it's going to do going forward from 2018.
Yeah, which is the most reliable data that we'd have of the isolated consequences of the TCGA, and I'm giving you an ample opportunity to provide us with more reliable.
Sure,
data.
I would love to revisit and find one. I thought you guys, it was like a conclusion looking back, not a forecast of what was their thoughts on it.
I mean, as he already pointed out, it is not over.
No, I know, and I'll have to look at something specific on the way back.
Nico, is there anything else you want to touch on here before we move on to our next guest?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys want to touch on immigration or if you want to bring somebody else on, you can.
All right, we'll just bring someone else on. I do appreciate you for the time. We're going to move on to Toby Smith Jr. Everybody just give us a minute. If you're one of the 5.4 thousand people in this stream, y'all make sure that we're double tapping. What's up, Toby? You vote for Trump?
Yes, sir, I did.
Why the hell did you do
Tap
that?
screen, everybody, and let's get to a 1 million, and there will be a dance party break.
We got to
We'll make you
dance
do it.
now. We got to dance now. We forgot to do that.
Turn on the music. Toby,
All right, I got it.
my brother, why did you vote for Trump?
I just agreed with what he wanted to do for smaller communities and all.
Okay.
I mean, he helped out in his first term. He helped out with the oil field I grew up in, and I worked on the oil field and an oil found.
So you think that Trump is better for oil than Kamala Harris, right? Here, turn it down just a little bit so we can still talk, but still have it playing. That's perfect. So go ahead, Toby. Do you think that Trump is better for domestic production of oil?
Yeah, he just opened up the Gulf of Mexico in a way that Obama didn't, and Joe Biden closed off a lot.
Well,
of it.
he's actually done nothing yet because he's not our president. But if we want to
He did
reference
in his
domestic
first term,
production,
though.
if we want to reference domestic production of oil under Biden and Harris compared to Trump's first term, what we see is Biden and Harris simply produced more. And you could actually prove this to yourself by going to EIA.gov and looking at a graph of domestic oil production in our country.
Okay, then why did whenever Joe Biden was in office, it lowered jobs for oil field workers in the U.S.?
Jobs in the oil field have actually been on the decline since the 1980s for one reason. The practicing of getting oil out of the ground has become more efficient, requiring less people. Unironically, you could thank fracking, which you love so much, for a decline in the amount of jobs in the industry.
Then why did it go up during President Trump's first term?
I don't know. You tell me.
It is. You're the one that's saying that he's going to be so terrible.
Michelle, thank you so much for the media show. I appreciate you for the love.
But
I don't even
it
know if we
went
saw an
up during
increase I don't even know if we saw that.
We saw an increase in job.
So you're saying that are you saying that Trump was actually worse for the efficiency of oil drilling in America because we required more jobs for less oil production?
We had more open tree to.
Oh, it's because of the refineries. There we go. Sorry, it took me a minute to find it. It's because we had a lot of refineries shut down due to COVID. But if you're curious, the refineries have actually been opening up year by year by year. And in the next 2 years, we're going to have more refineries refining more oil than we did prior to the pandemic.
Well, these refineries shouldn't have been closing down since the oil field workers were considered essential employees during COVID and weren't allowed to have time off during COVID.
So go ahead and demonstrate to me any movement or action of Biden and Harris that caused them to shut down. If that's going to be blamed on local or state leadership or even just the CEOs of these companies, it's definitely not relevant to our conversation.
So during Biden's administration, he didn't close off the Gulf of Mexico, and
what refineries are in the middle of an ocean, sir?
I'm not talking about refineries. I'm talking about rigs and drilling operations.
Oh, awesome. So now once again, you're talking about how much crude oil we're actually producing. I'll go ahead and say it again. We're producing more crude oil now than we ever have in the history of our country or the earth.
Yes, that's...
So then why the fuck does it matter? You're like, oh, like these specific producers got shut down, but all things considered, we still produce more.
So we produce more and take away jobs from more people.
Once again, there's been a decline in the amount of jobs in the industry since the 80s, but most of the decline in the jobs over the course of the last 4 years has been from refineries shutting down due to COVID, which once again are all going to be reopened and producing more than we did before COVID next year.
And what is opening that up?
Mads, thank you for the galaxy. What's opening it back up? I'm not an expert. I don't know. Just go on EIA and you can see that they are opening back up. Brian, thanks for the galaxy.
Okay.
You're getting dunked on, bro. This is fun. I'm enjoying myself. Anything else? I'm having fun. Please keep it going.
What is it that Trump will be terrible about for America?
Brian, thank you so much for the fireworks. And Toby, I'm
about.
glad you asked. Sure. So not only is he a 34-count felon, he's also an adjudicated rapist that tried to religiously persecute and shut down the entry of all new Muslims into our country. He's also a womanizer, misogynist, and a racist. And he's isolated us more so from our foreign allies with his proposed flat tariff.
Susan
right
with
now.
$100 on Venmo. Thank you so much.
W,
Give some W's
Susan.
for Susan for take Marge to dinner. Thank you so much, Susan. I
W,
absolutely
Susan.
will. Give me some W's for Susan in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Susan. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And for the guitar as well. I appreciate it. W's for Susan. Thank you.
Wait, Susan! Thank you so much for the $100 as well. Susan says, buy warm, fuzzy slippers. Will do, Susan. I really appreciate you for that love. And Deborah, thank you so much for the $5 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Susan,
you
for the $100. That is insane. I want to see at least 2,000 W's in the chat for Susan. So, did you catch my drift there with why he's going to be so bad? He like literally, how about this? You can't find me one clip of Donald Trump speaking intelligently about policy, either domestic or foreign, over the course of the last 8 years. You can't find one clip of him like explaining one of his proposed policies, exactly what it's going to do, how it's going to benefit America, and exactly the positive effects it's going to yield, either in the short or long term. You can't find it. That's why he's so bad for our country, because he's all rhetoric and
he
not
did
policy.
nothing. He did nothing good in the 4 years that he did serve.
No, I made the claim that he's never spoken intelligently about policy because he's all about rhetoric, not about actual positive change.
So there was nothing that. So he just won't do anything.
Yeah, like during his first 4 years,
Correct.
like the best thing that he did was some tax cuts for members of the low and the middle class, but that was overshadowed by a disproportionate amount of tax cuts for people making over $500,000 a year, while having no monumental impact on our economy in the macro scale. Just recklessly spending $2 trillion. And like for a second term, it's just going to get worse with his tariffs, his foreign policies, dog shit. The fact that it's going to embolden grape culture because we're rewarding a grapist with the Oval Office. First term, no wall, less than 50 miles. Didn't get stuck to Mexico, got stuck to the American taxpayer. Yeah, no effective border policy, no super effective economic policy. Wasn't good for foreign affairs at all. Like, yeah, this guy's an idiot, man.
Thank you, Susan, so much for the $100.
So,
Thank you, Susan. Everyone chat.
what
W
did
Susan.
Trump
Hold on,
do?
Toby. Hold on. I'm thanking somebody. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Susan, so very much. $100 for the future DoorDashes. Thank you so much. W Susan in chat for the next 10 minutes. Thank you so much. Oh, okay, Tony, go ahead. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah. So what did Joe Biden's administration do for these natural disasters and response reliefs?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'd say that the only monumental thing that has been like signed off on by the executive branch was covering 100% of the costs for 180 days over in California. The rest of it was funneled through Congress and FEMA, and there wasn't a lot of executive authority there.
Yeah, and a lot of those other cases in these smaller towns that weren't focused in big media were these smaller towns like this that President Trump did help with and help finance a lot of these things.
So you have no evidence of that. You only have his word of mouth that he personally donated $1 million to GoFundMe, which hasn't been substantiated. If you're willing to baselessly believe anything that Trump says, why aren't you willing to baselessly believe anything that I say?
I trust a lot more of what you say than what any president says.
You should trust me more than you trust Trump, because Trump told over 30,000 confirmed lies during his first 4 years, and he told the biggest lie that any sitting president has ever told with his denial of the outcome of the 2020 election.
Thank you, Haley, for the $1.
And what was that
I got
lie?
you.
I just told you the denial of the outcome of the 2020 election.
Okay.
Rasputin. You know, the story of Rasputin is a very interesting one.
It is very interesting. Have you seen his embalmed male member?
Oh my God! It was embalmed.
Yeah, it's a monster.
That's crazy.
So these funds that these smaller companies they didn't get a lot of credit.
Oh,
And
why do you think Kamala Harris would be bad for America?
because one, just from not helping these communities in America that suffered tragedies,
So what should she have done?
focus more resources on helping these communities.
But like, how so? That's rhetoric. I need actual steps in it plan.
Not letting FEMA be allowed to just tell people, okay, you didn't get resituated within enough time of us, so we're just going to take these
But
housing.
that would take congressional policy. Yeah, and not to mention that the vice president can't sign executive orders into law.
Okay, then why didn't the president try and do more?
Yeah, man. I'm sure that people like Law of the Wild are more educated than I am on that specific subject. So I'm not even just gonna sit here and bullshit you. But I specifically asked you why you think Kamala Harris would have been bad for our country. Like, would you be able to name like one policy that she had proposed that was bad?
I didn't look at all of her policies, but
Like, what is one thing that she was gonna do that was bad?
I would have to go and pull up all my policies.
See what I mean, man?
I mean, it's after the election, so why do I need to worry about what her policies were anymore? I mean,
Because
it's
the point of this live is to have a discussion about how any rational thinker would come to the conclusion that Kamala Harris was a significantly better pick for the presidency compared to Donald Trump. Now, if you're like unconcerned with her purpose policy since it's like post-election, like maybe a spot on the live just isn't for you, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm just not well equipped to be on the live.
But I appreciate you for coming up, Toby.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all lives. You, Dean, Park, and Parker and Matt. I enjoy all of y'all lives.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you for being.
Y'all really do actually like speak on the truth and like what a lot of people need to know about elections and just real world problems that we go through. I mean, I know we come from two different backgrounds. Like we all come from different backgrounds and we have different beliefs. But like, I really enjoy all of y'all lives.
Well, thank you so much, Toby. You have a good one, okay?
Appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, Toby. Have a great night.
Thanks,
and thank you, Rebecca, for the $40 for the dance moves. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much,
bro. I was very heavily enjoying that. That was
fun, and it's fun. Yeah, I know. I was like getting into it. Once we get to once we get to 1.8 or close to 2 mil, then we'll do another one, and I got the song already picked out.
For Dean's 21st birthday, we still have TikTok. We got to do a drunk dance.
When's your birthday, Dean?
September. So we have.
We got a while.
I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, man. I don't want to lose my job, dude. I don't want to be jobless. Yeah, I hope that TikTok.
Me either. I don't want to have to get a real job.
Trump, if you could hear me,
get a real job.
Save me, President.
Well, actually, hello. What? He can't even do that much anyway. So.
I actually disagree with you, Matt.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, BC, quiet.
In the oral argumentations with the Supreme Court, it seemed as if it was unanimously agreed upon that Trump could make the ban non-enforceable.
Yes, except if you listen to Justice Sotomayor, she said that would have been a violation of the law because you have to enforce the law, and they could probably sue because of that.
So what I heard was that TikTok would be in violation of the law, but it would be non-enforceable. Maybe I just heard them wrong.
Well, Sotomayor pushed back on that point. Not that you're wrong. I'm saying that Sotomayor pushed back on that point, saying that if Trump did not enforce it, then that would be a violation of the law. Now, he could do that anyway, and then nothing happens. That was her opinion. My view is just that he'll probably try to save it in some other way, but how, I don't really know that much.
I don't actually know.
Dean.
Yeah. All right. But that's it.
Hello.
I tried to.
All right, listen.
Yeah.
I'm from the UK.
Okay, do you have
all
that? Okay.
Obviously, I'm not from America.
But I just want to understand how you would think that this.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia.
Based? Hello? Base department? Yo, she's speaking
How
facts,
can
bro.
you genuinely think?
She's speaking facts. Ukraine is a country in Europe that does border Russia. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
Doesn't any person in the USA know that that's true? Of course.
You would
He's
hope.
not speaking to a
you would
bunch of
hope.
imbeciles. She knows.
I'm so
How can you
sorry.
vote for that?
I'm going to be shutting everybody down here because I got to put on my librarian hat and like put on my big boy voice and say that what you just shared was misinformation, my pal. If you Google that, the first thing that comes up is a fact check that shows that you're leaving out the key parts. So she actually gave a full explanation. So once again, basic literacy. Please go back to school.
Go on.
Wait, I like how you tried to say like as Americans we didn't do that, and then you literally did exactly what you considered.
Yeah, the very first article.
Like imbecile of us.
That's
to do.
a fact check. The very first thing on Google is a fact check, and not from like a source. It's from the Avant or the French press. So it's like a French source. It's a very well known AFP. So like, I'm sorry, but
Then
basic
also-
literacy.
Hey, then also on a real note, like obviously, like I'm being a little bit rage baity. Yeah, like she didn't sound like the smartest person in the world in that clip. She kind of sounded like she didn't know what to say and she was just saying words.
Do you see? This is the thing.
You want to know what the
or she was explaining
I'm
to
not
MAGA.
done. I'm not done. Guys,
Okay.
BC, stop, BC. At the end of the day, you put a camera and a mic on any politician for multiple years, you're gonna have a couple clips like that. How does that fucking compare to being a rapist?
No. It's not. I'm not saying that. Of course, look, I'm British, so obviously I'm not gonna say like I wouldn't vote for Trump. I wouldn't.
Bye, Brit. Hello.
Just so
Badger.
everybody's aware, she was responding to a radio host asking her to explain the conflict in layman's terms, and that was only the very first beginning, and then she goes on in much more detail. So yeah, Badger, how are you?
Hi, you scared me really bad. I didn't know you were gonna add me so fast. I just have a question.
How old are you, Badger?
I'm 16. Should I leave?
Yeah, you gotta leave,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
Sorry, bro. But thanks for being a supporter, I think. Rasputin, lover.
All right, I probably am gonna get off here.
Oh man, okay, I
Should
appreciate.
I try to
you
dunk on one person before I go?
Yeah, do it.
Well, actually, would you guys dunk on someone while I go use the restroom real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. Go.
We'll dunk on someone once you get back. Then I'll go.
All right, I'll be right back, chatters.
And make sure you add someone before you go, unless you really have to go to the bathroom.
I can have the power to add too, so I can bring somebody up.
Also, make sure you have that. You have that power as well, Parker. Thank you for
Okay, for
Alex.
sure.
I appreciate that. But yeah, I'll try to get someone up here.
We'll get somebody.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so tired. It has been such a long.
Hey, kick me out.
I don't understand.
I don't need y'all.
Why do you always?
I don't need y'all.
You are front, so good.
I don't need y'all.
Dickie, what's going on? Hey, we got you on the phone here. I know that we kind of popped in at the middle of a little bit of an argument. Can we talk it out?
In the morning.
Yeah. Can we talk it out, Dickie?
Wake up and be a good mom.
Dickie, hello, can you hear us?
Snowman. Whoopie doo fucking day.
Dickie, hello?
Dickie.
Hi,
11 o'clock at night making
Hi,
snowman.
It's 9:54.
Hi, Dickie.
Oh, so that's better?
Who
Dickie.
cares? They're fucking kids. They're in front of the goddamn house. You make a big deal of weird shit.
Dead ass?
Loki on her side?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
That's why you are the way that you are, because your mom didn't treat you the way that you should have been treated, and you're treating
Dickie,
your
don't
kids the
say
same
that.
fucking way.
This guy's an asshole.
Dude, this guy's actually an asshole.
Make it better and leave me alone.
Who are you talking to, Dickie?
Oh, she fucking told him.
Yes. Not a good mom.
He's
There's
gagged.
no way he doesn't hear
He's
us.
gagged. He has nothing to say back. That's right. Make your damn dinner. and
Bro
leave
got
her
gagged.
alone.
He got gagged.
All he had to say was, "Oh yes."
Oh, yes.
I don't give a fuck about what you think about me. Because
Are you
I see who you are.
Dickie, are you talking to
Wake
us, man?
the fuck up and
Dickie.
realize that if you got your children
Dickie,
walking out,
Dickie, you are on a live stream.
It's 11 o'clock. It's 9:55.
Dickie, you're on a live stream.
Who cares?
Dickie, hello?
Damn, leave me alone.
Why
Make
don't
me
they
do
hear
what you
us?
was gonna do.
Why
I
don't they
almost
hear
want to
us?
slap the shit out you.
God damn.
Oh my God.
Shit out you. And I'll beat the shit out of everybody else up in
Yeah,
there.
alright, you dead.
Huh?
I ain't sorry.
No. Speak that shit.
I
Say it
said
with your
you
chest,
be-
nigga.
I said you be dead.
Is this Maury?
I kill all y'all pussies.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah. Stop playing with me.
Bro did not realize that he's on a TikTok live. By the way, this can be used against him in the court of law.
Back up. All that shit that y'all was talking, no fights. No fights. Get the fuck out of here, pussy.
Alright, go do what you gotta do. Make your dinner. Like you said, you're gonna
Pussy.
eat your muscles. Because you're not eating that, so eat your muscles. You make
Pussy. Y'all niggas is soft.
Make yourself some your dinner.
Pussy. Niggas is pussy.
Bro's not going to be saying that when the police is there.
I want him to pull out his phone and just realize that he's.
I want him to. Yeah, I want him to realize
he's on his phone.
He's on his phone right now.
Unless
Dickie.
you have like a low battery warning or something pop up.
That's fucking insane, dude.
That's bro, dude.
Did anyone record that? Because that's actually fucking insane. He just literally threatened to assault them.
To kill? No, wait. Let's say it. Let's say it how it is. Threatened
I
to
didn't even
assault.
hear
Yeah.
that part.
Threatened
Dude,
to beat and murder.
I didn't even hear the second part. I just heard the first part, and like my brain just shut down. Like I was just like, dude, what?
And I'm pretty sure like there's an implication there of like including the kids because he wasn't just like you. He was all y'all.
Yeah, all y'all.
Who's all y'all? You got the husband, the wife, and the who? The kids.
That's actually insane. Like if someone can like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's nuts. I wonder if this guy has any information about who he is anywhere connected to his account. You know, because for instance, if his employer were to wake up to an anonymous email linking a clip of that, I would not be mad.
Be mad at all?
We're not breaking the law. I just want to let everyone know that he chose to request. He just happened to choose to forget about it too.
If that's him in the profile pic, then
That's so fucked. Like I thought that was just like a joke. Like we were just like listening in because I think they left. Did you kick them?
Yeah, I just kicked them.
Yeah, like that was just a joke. Like we were just like listening in as a joke. Like we did not expect that. Like I honestly thought it was gonna be something like, oh, like lol, we can hear them like disagreeing or something.
I mean,
but like that was crazy.
I'm happy that it happened on here. You know, like maybe there will be some actual accountability
in front of 6
for a bad
6K.
person. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm happy that we didn't just automatically kick him and we listened to that unfold because I mean someone is going to do something about it. Linda, what's up? You vote for Trump?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Why not?
I need to go.
Martin,
pee.
did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, go pee, dude.
Martin's not in here quite yet.
Martin, did you vote for Trump?
I'm just gonna give you someone that I know will fill some air. while
Okay.
I'm peeing.
Gene doesn't
Anthony,
like
thank
Nate.
you for the galaxy. I'll be back.
All right, Nate, I have a question.
Go for it. Shoot.
Did you vote for someone held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman?
I wouldn't do it myself.
Okay, then you didn't vote for Trump, right?
No, I voted for Trump.
Okay, so you know that he was held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman, right?
I mean, I don't know. It's to the court of public opinion, and honestly, it's to your own judgment of how that went down. I mean, it's not always the way it looks. And no, I believe he was innocent of that. I do.
I understand, but you said if he was held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman, you wouldn't vote for him.
I just said
also, can you tell me the victim's name?
I just said I wouldn't do that. It doesn't matter the victim's name. All that
You don't know her name yet. You think that you didn't do it?
I do, but the thing is, all that matters is that you're voting. You're voting on what. Okay, answer this question. If he dropped out of the race, they would have dropped all that. They wouldn't have. They could have cared less that any of that happened.
That's not true. Like I wouldn't just not care. He still would have been held responsible. He still would have been held civilly responsible because he was defaming her.
What did he have? What responsibility did he after the fact? What happened? What happened? Nothing. Nothing.
He defamed her.
If you did that to somebody or I did that to a lady, we would be in prison.
The reason why he didn't get put in prison is because it was past the statute of limitations on criminal courts, meaning that we couldn't try him in a criminal court, even if we had a video recording of it.
I don't know about that.
That's literally how the law works.
Okay, so I mean, Bill Cosby went to prison, right? He was past the statute of limitations.
No, actually, Bill Cosby's case was thrown out on appeal.
Why did he go to prison?
Because he was found guilty.
Yeah, and it was past the limitations.
In Pennsylvania, it's not passed. In New York, it was different state.
So 30 years later, I mean, either way, listen, Trump was a multi-millionaire back in the day, which is like a billionaire today, and he didn't need to do any of that. That was consensual. There's no...
Bro, get a grip. Get a fucking grip.
Sometimes you just got to use your brain. Just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you
Yeah, you're right. I have used my brain. I looked at the evidence. I looked at all of Trump's comments. I used his past behavior. I put them all into a nice mathematical equation, and they all... And that plus that equals guilty or liable or rapist or however you want to fucking say it.
Okay. You'd probably be... I think I seen you on Hanson. But anyways...
all right, Dean. I'll see you later, bruv.
I've seen you on Hanson.
Good luck with this guy. This guy's got some.
Thanks, Parker. Give a good night, Parker. Bye bye. Take care of yourself.
All right, I'll see you later, Matt. See you later, Dean.
Bye, dude. Thanks for having me on.
Fuck Parker.
What's your fucking issue, Nate?
I don't have an issue, man.
Destiny, thank you for the $10.
You just said fuck Parker. What was that for?
Trump is negative.
Caramel.
Why does everything have to be negative when over half the country?
Vast majority, right, of the attributes about Trump are incredibly undesirable. Okay, character, policy, history, you name it, it's bad. Like,
also,
let's be
don't
real.
give me that bullshit.
You got a bad
Whenever you
history.
just said that E. Jean Carroll, a victim of grape, that was consensual.
You got a bad
give me
history.
a fucking. Give me
You're
a.
young. Imagine if you were 4 times your age, Dean. Imagine living four of your lives. What
Are
would
you
your
talking?
history
Are you
look
talking
like?
about like when I was young, I used slurs? Is that?
Yeah,
my
but
history?
imagine if you weren't on a platform.
Now
like
imagine this.
right now.
Now
It wouldn't have
imagine
ended.
this.
It wouldn't have ended.
You want to know what the difference is between me and Trump?
What?
This 20-year-old white boy holds himself to a higher level of accountability than the next president of our country. So you will never hear me
Crazy how you
defend, excuse, or ignore how I used to use racial slurs. You'll never hear me describe it as anything but racism and bigotry that I'm so happy I was able to change my character to become a better person for the greater good. Have you ever heard Trump hold himself accountable for anything bad he's ever done?
Would I?
Have you ever seen Trump hold himself accountable for calling all black people lazy, denying housing applications to black people in the 70s because
Dude,
of their race,
Obama
calling
and
for the death penalty
Biden
for the
ran
exonerated,
against gay marriage.
called for the death penalty for the exonerated Central Park 5.
Speaking of Obama, Dean, speaking of Obama, has he apologized to Barack Obama for that farce of claiming that he was born in Kenya? Total racist, bigoted lie.
Saying that Obama was born in Kenya with no evidence at all, even though he had a birth certificate out of Hawaii. Can you give me an example of him holding himself accountable and apologizing for any of these things?
Maybe when he was talking to Obama and having a little like laughery at the president's funeral, Carter's funeral. So, anyways.
So wait. Answer my question. Can you give me a single instance of him holding himself accountable and apologizing for any of these things? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Give it.
By being a real American and speaking real facts.
No, Nate.
Kermit, you're going off, man.
Bullshit. Answer my question. Has there been a single instance of Donald Trump recognizing that one of those things we just listed off was wrong and holding himself accountable for having have done that, recognizing the harm that it caused, and apologizing from a place of sincerity? Has Trump ever done that, yes or no? This is going to test how fucking genuine you are.
Obama and Biden wouldn't let you get married.
Shut up. Answer my question.
Till it supported their narrative, they wouldn't let you get married if you were gay.
Nate, stop being a fucking weasel. We could talk about that after you answer my question. Now answer my question.
I don't know. Did you want your kids growing up in a racial jungle?
Jesus Christ, Nate, I'm going to give you one last opportunity to answer the question. So I just want to put it out there. When individuals come up on this live and don't answer my questions, it's because they've lost the debate. That is the only reason why Nate will not answer this question. By the way, he was like referencing something that he thinks Biden said about like the racial jungle. So I want you to answer my question, and then after you answer my question, I will allow you to bring up anything. We could talk about Biden with a quote-unquote racial jungle. We could talk about same-sex marriage. We could talk about any of it, okay? Right? But I want you to first answer my question. If you don't answer the question, all 5.8 thousand of us are going to laugh our asses off as we kick you for being a donut. You understand me, boy?
You fucking donut.
You're a boy. I'm a man.
No, like, bro, I'm low broing you right now. I am absolutely
You're a
low
Muppet,
broing
actually,
you.
not a man.
You were like more silent than me
That's
when
the
I was
question.
6, getting caught by my parents sneaking like Oreos at 11 p.m. I'm absolutely low broing you. Now answer the dang question,
little bro.
Stop muting me. Ask the
okay,
question.
yeah, I won't mute you if you answer the question. I will mute
Ask
you
it.
if you do anything else. Can you point out a single circumstance of Trump genuinely apologizing for, holding himself accountable, and recognizing the harm perpetuated by any of these things that he's done that we've denoted, such as denying rental properties to black people because of their race, perpetuating the birther myth of Barack Obama, calling for the death penalty of the exonerated Central Park Five, or calling all black people lazy?
So for the rental, it wasn't exactly denying black people. It was more Section 8 because of properties being destroyed.
Okay, so they put the letter C on the housing applications of black people to mark that they were quote-unquote colored, that were denied. Civil litigation was pursued by the New York State Justice Department. The property manager indicated that this was an order from Donald Trump, in which Donald Trump then paid them money. No, not his father, from Donald Trump. Now, answer the dang question. One last opportunity before you get kicked. Nate, I know that you're sentient. I know that you have a job and you provide to the economy. Like you can understand the question I'm asking you. You are mature enough to realize the question I'm asking you. Now, are you mature enough to answer?
It doesn't mean he needs to prove himself to.
Are you going to answer the question, Nate?
Show me that he hasn't.
Are you going to answer the question?
Show me that he hasn't.
Oh,
I'm
great.
sure he has.
Okay, awesome.
I don't follow his every
so now you're
move.
saying that I actually have to prove that he hasn't. Sure, Donald Trump raped a 12-year-old girl last night. You disagree with me? Go ahead and prove he didn't.
He didn't.
Ah, that's not proof, buddy.
Neither did you, and neither did I. So, what are you? That's ridiculous. That's a farce. It's like something that's so absurdly insane.
No, he did it. And if you want to reject that he did it, you have to give me proof that he didn't.
My brain wouldn't even think of something like that. That's just weird to even think of. So, he's a good person that over half the country likks.
Nate, you are so not over half. It's actually under half. 50.1% of Americans voted.
What was the popular vote?
He won the popular vote, but that doesn't mean that most Americans voted for him. In
Last
fact,
I checked, that's more than half.
No, that is not what the popular vote means.
49.8 or something.
The popular vote means that you have more people vote for you compared to any other candidate. However, 50.1% of Americans still voted against him by either voting for Kamala Harris or a third-party candidate. A minority of American voters in the 2024 election voted for Donald Trump, and this is detracting. Are you going to answer my question or not? Can you give me a single instance of Donald Trump holding himself accountable and apologizing for any of the instances that I denoted? Or can you not give me an instance?
No.
You can't. Exactly. So, in other words, this 20-year-old white boy on TikTok can hold himself to a higher level of accountability than the next goddamn president of our country. Literally, me. I'm more capable than Donald Trump
Walks into a room
at
and they
recognizing harm.
UFC, they cheer. They love him.
Did people cheer for Hitler, sir?
White on the podcast. No, people didn't cheer for Hitler. A certain group.
I remember seeing those old rallies videos, where things kind of it seemed like people did exactly cheer for him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, because like he's trying to make the argument that if people cheer for you, then you're like literally Jesus 2.0. Like, dude, literally get off the live. I'm not. I want you to embarrass yourself
Jesus 2.0.
by forcefully leaving. No, you're leaving now. This discussion is over.
Yeah, because I can't choose to leave or not. Oh, it's not my choice.
Exactly, it's not your choice. I'm forcing you to leave.
I know it's not because.
Yo, Taylor, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal.
Oh, look
saying
at you
deserve it.
begging for money. You should be on the corner just saying, give me more money. Give me more
Mate,
money.
you're being so disingenuous. I'm literally
Dude,
thanking
it's so
somebody for
wrong.
the donation.
How much money do you have?
Scarlett, thank you so much for the meteor shower.
Heidi said that you have a lot of money when you went out to dinner together.
Censorship regarding, back in 2020 and 2019, the COVID-19 censorship on Meta. He was talking about how the Biden-Harris administration tried to censor platforms. That's a reason. And you have the CEO of like all of these, basically all of social media, aside from X.
What's up, PayPal? Thank you so much. Everybody, please do show some love to Shayla in that comment section. I promise it's relevant, and this will be pertinent to our discussion. So I actually listened to the Joe Rogan podcast with Zuckerberg today on my plane. But I just want to ask you a question. Do you believe E. Jean Carroll when she says that Donald Trump raped her? Then don't worry. I promise it's relevant.
Do I believe that? I mean, when it comes to the intricate facts behind it, there's a lot of contradicting stuff regarding it. Like there's an interview that she had, and she said that. What did she say? That she thinks that it's sexy, right?
Oh, okay? How much money do you want to bet that she said that? Because I don't think she did, and I'm willing to put money where my mouth is.
You want to play the clip, or I mean, this is something that I had watched a while back. So I mean, to say that I am correct, I may be wrong, but I believe that
Are you willing to bet money on it?
Bet money? How are we going to bet money on this?
Like we say, if she did say that she thinks grape is sexy, I got to pay you.
How about this?
If she didn't,
I have tickets to UFC 311 in LA. If you win, you can have that ticket. If I win, what's if I win? What?
I don't really care about UFC that much. I want to bet money.
How much?
$100.
$100.
Yep.
What's the and what did she indicating what? Like what did she say?
If the claim that E. Jean Carroll said that she thinks grape is sexy is true, I give you $100. If the claim E. Jean Carroll said that she thinks grape is sexy is false, you give me $100.
Interesting. Well, like I said,
Shayla, thank you for the galaxy. I appreciate you.
I may be wrong.
So
I could be completely incorrect.
Are you or are you not willing to bet on it?
Let's just go ahead and play the clip.
So yes or no to the bet?
I'd say no to the bet.
Okay, perfect. Well,
You don't feel like a victim. I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
So
yes, she did say it.
No, she didn't.
She said
quote her word for word.
She said most people would think that it's sexy.
Right, and now what did you say she said?
I think I said exactly that, right? That she said most people would think that it's sexy. I literally said that.
Do you like, so the words that are coming out of your mouth, you mean what you're saying? Like, you actually think that she said that?
No, I'm saying that.
No, because you said that she thinks grape is sexy, which is false. Eugene Carroll never said that she thinks grape is sexy. She said that others think grape is sexy, which is absolutely true, and it is so important to point out. Individuals sexualize and romanticize the hell out of grape. What is C and C? Like, it is absolutely unreal, right? And if we were to have made that bet, you would be owing me $100 right now. And the point is I don't understand how that discredits her, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bet that you don't believe Eugene Carroll's proven accusations against Donald Trump about grape. So why should any of us believe what Mark Zuckerberg says?
I mean, interesting. I love the correlation. You use that for leverage, I could see. But what I would say,
like, if a claim that was proven in a court of law isn't a sufficient standard of evidence to justify what she said as being facts, I don't understand why a claim made by Zuck on a podcast would be enough evidence. Jail, thank you for this one. It just kind of sounds like you accept things without evidence if they support your narrative, and you reject things even if they have evidence.
That's not necessarily true, because I can say the same thing about you too, because I'm sure that you don't believe Mark Zuckerberg yourself, correct? That's why you're making the argument. That's why you're pulling this argument yourself. You're kind of creating this narrative yourself as well. You have like your own personal perspective.
Well, first of all,
you just said that Trump's the worst president in history.
Regardless of my perspective of like Mark Zuckerberg's claims, if I didn't believe what he said, that wouldn't be me doing anything wrong. Like, it's okay to not believe things that don't have evidence. It's okay to not believe baseless claims, right? But
I'm sure
what I'm pointing out as an issue within your worldview is that you believe Zuck with no evidence, and you don't believe Eugene Carroll with sufficient evidence to prove it in court. So why do you hold a different standard there?
Not necessarily to hold a different standard.
Thank you for the galaxy. I appreciate you for the love.
There's just...
You want to mute. Maybe you got to call. Why are people telling me to like let them talk?
I gotta call. There's just been a lot of misinformation regarding accusations and like stuff about Trump and there's just always that rhetoric when it comes to Trump, and so it's hard to like kind of, I guess there's a lot of contradicting evidence that indicates that maybe he didn't do it.
Like what?
For example, I mean, okay, so I don't know, like what, like some of the evidence with the case regarding like substance on the dress, right? Like that, because it was proven that he didn't actually grape someone or whatever. I don't know.
No. Eugene Carroll claim was that some of Trump's DNA was on the dress. They tested it, found that there was male DNA on the dress. She tried to submit it to court, and in doing so requested that Donald Trump also submitted a DNA sample to court so they could see if it was the same DNA, which Trump then literally refused to provide his DNA to the court, and which then led the judge to not accepting the dress either. If anything, that actually gives credence to the point that he did grape her, not that he didn't.
Interesting, but it wasn't proven that he did actually grape her, correct?
No, it absolutely was. It was proven in a civil court of law. A unanimous jury of 9 all indicated that the claim that Donald Trump had graped Eugene Carroll was substantially true. And then once again, this doesn't really respond to my question on.
Okay, so let me bring up a great point. Let me bring up
with enough evidence to prove it in court.
Apparently, right? I think that I believe that, and you can fact check me on this if it's not swiped or erased from the internet, that she posted on Facebook before this even occurred that something about sexualizing Trump and Brad Pitt or something like that. I don't know word for word what she said, but it's just interesting. I don't know. Just that was pretty interesting with the correlation with this.
So first of all,
and with
I've
celebrities,
never heard that claim before,
right?
and I'd love for you to provide me evidence. But then secondarily, even if that claim is true, that doesn't mean that she's a liar. Like, for instance, women that are into men get graped by those men all of the time.
I mean,
so like you're trying to say that she wasn't a true victim because she thought he was sexy. Like, do you understand how incredibly detrimental that is to women's safety across
there's
the
also a
country?
lot
Not
of
to
like,
mention that the claim as a whole has no evidence for
so
it.
here's like, and this isn't me like being any sort of apologist. It's just when it comes to celebrities,
It absolutely is.
It's not, because when you're a celebrity and you have a bunch. Okay, actually, I'm gonna like refrain how I'm gonna like word this, but it's just more of a, I guess, when it comes to celebrities, it's different because a lot of people do actually get false accusations when it comes to.
But this wasn't just an accusation. It was an accusation that was proven in court. So if you believe that the jury met that verdict given insufficient evidence as it was a false allegation, please describe to me the evidence that was submitted to the court and detail how it was insufficient. Like, can you name one piece of evidence?
I wish I had my like computer or something. I don't want.
Carlos, thank you for the $20, and Ava, thank you for the $20 as well. Thank you, Carlos, Ava, as well as Emma with the $11. I don't know if you guys are in here. That was from before the ban, but if you are, just know I appreciate you.
Let me actually. I had some notes that I took a while back. Let me actually double check that, and if I could come back up, I'd like to talk to you about it.
Yeah, feel free, man. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Dean's mother. Who are you?
Hello.
Who are you? Weird. We're gonna move on to the next guest. It looks like we don't have that many people in here right now. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Taylor, I appreciate you for the $5 on PayPal. That it's very kind of you. Thank you, Taylor. It means the world. Thank you so much. Join Harriet. Yeah, I might just
Hang
in the
on.
debates. Yeah,
Wait.
how do you?
Hi.
Hi, how do you?
Wait, I didn't think this would go through. I'm leaving.
Okay. So hey, for the 2.1 thousand people, I'm pretty sure that we're just gonna be done with debates for the night. I know that we haven't done that much. I know, but I'm abysmally tired. But here's my counter offer. We still stay streaming. We just do like a Q&A instead, and I kind of tell you guys about the trip out to LA. An entirely different account. I don't think this account has good push right now, so. Paisley, thanks for the 50 cents on memo saying, can you say happy birthday, Joelle? Happy birthday, Joelle. All right, everybody. Well, here's where I want each and every single one of you guys to go. If you want to hang out with me for a Q&A, ask me some questions. It's honestly always a good time. I feel like it'll be worth your time. I would love for out with me while we do a Q&A, and I kind of run you guys over the LA trip, as well as Taylor. Thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. I really appreciate you for the love, Taylor. Oh my God, thank you. So everyone, what's up, David? Everyone head over there. I'll see you all over on this account very, very shortly. Let's just rate our stuff. See you soon. At Dean Get a Grip. Everybody pull through. If you don't pull through, you're not a true fan. I'm just kidding. But I'd love. I wasn't just debating Emily. I was also debating Steiny, as well as what the fuck is his name? He's like a big bodybuilder dude. What the hell is his name? Let me Bradley Martin. Bradley Martin. Hey, Mama Peach. So I debated Steiny, Emily, and then Bradley Martin all at once. It was a 1v3. Also, Diane, I appreciate you for the raid. And we started off by talking about the wildfires. At that point, I had been on the plains all day, so I didn't have time to research them. So I didn't know that much. So like I didn't like slam dunk on them there. I won't lie. Raymond, thank you for the galaxy. I do appreciate you for that. But then we got to talking about how the first episode went, and it kind of naturally came up that Emily is literally pro-slavery. She denied that she was pro-slavery. We rehashed exactly what she said, And then I wanted to take it one step further because once that point was made during the first episode that I had filmed with her, I really wanted to respond to it by digging in a little bit further about if she's like literally pro-Confederacy. And I finally did that this time. I kind of explained the Civil War. I extrapolated out how her positions would logically entail that she's actually against the Union and for the Confederacy. Then asked her a very obvious and blatant question if she's like pro-Confederacy. And she wouldn't answer. She straight up wouldn't answer. And I even pulled like the one-liner. That's a damning non-answer. So, and then after that, I just started like calling her like fucking like stupid and dumb. I was calling her an idiot. Because she is, and she deserved it. If anybody deserved it, she did. And it like, that's where everything went real sour. And then it came up, and then after that, she just started like calling me a grifter, saying I went to the White House and there was all these quote unquote transgender individuals there, but instead of calling them transgender individuals, she called them, you know, like the T slur for trans people. And then she said like the R slur that opens a conversation about like why the fuck people shouldn't use slurs. I was pissed. Like if she was on my live, I would have kicked her, but I was sitting there in person, so I couldn't just kick her. And then she was like, "Oh, Dean, you used to say slurs." And then she like started saying the slurs that I had said. She F slur and like, dude, it was crazy. It was so fucking gross. It was so fucking deplorable. It was so fucking sick. It was sick. It was literally so sick. And if I knew that she was going to do that, like I wouldn't have accepted the conversation. Like she was literally saying slurs just to get attention. She was saying slurs just to make me upset. And then she'd like sit back with a smile on her face. And like I got really pissed. Like I was very fucking upset. Scarlett, thank you so much for the meteor shower. I do really appreciate you for that. Thank you, Scarlett. And then like I start digging into her about like why that just makes her such a fucking like deplorable POS. Of course it didn't stick. She didn't care. And then like inevitably like she just kind of rage quit. So she left the room and then someone else came in. I don't even remember his name. I didn't even know he'd be there. I didn't know who he was. It was like some other bodybuilder that sat down and like the first thing that we were talking about was abortion, and he was like trying to be intellectually honest, which I appreciated, but it went nowhere. And then it went on to like slurs again, and then he was just like, "Oh, I love to say the N-word, and I don't think it's wrong to use slurs." And like he's not black. He was Chinese. But he didn't use any of the slurs apart from like the one that is particularly used to reference Asian individuals, but he just said that he uses the N-word like all the time. And then at like that point I was just like really done with the conversation. I was like, this is like the least productive shit I've ever done. Like, why the fuck am I here? What is the purpose of this conversation? What is the point? But like obviously I can't just like get up and walk out. So then I have a conversation with this guy for like 20 minutes explaining to him why you shouldn't use slurs. And like to a certain extent, I actually feel like I kind of got through to him. Maybe when I watch it back, I'll change my mind. But I think I was able to give him some arguments that he ended up being like, okay, I understand that. But then he was also, Togi was his name. And then he was also like calling like women bitches. And then I explained to him like why you shouldn't call women bitches. And I think I think I gave him like a perfect argument for that. But I don't know if like he understood it or I don't know if he understood it or not. But then like later in the conversation, he like went to say women, but he was like, "Oh, all these bitches." But then he like stopped halfway through. He was like, "All these," and then he was like, "Oh," and then he was like, "Females," instead of bitches. But then I tell them that I was like, okay, you took it, you got a step in the right direction. You're no longer calling women bitches, but calling women females has the exact same impact. Both the terms bitches, bitch, females, female have been used for the same reason in accordance with how like shitty men have talked to women. Yeah. And then Togi left. He was also like talking, it was weird. He was like kind of just like telling me how much he loved to gamble all of his money and like he likes to live life on the edge because it's exciting. And then he was asking me like for my thoughts. So I didn't even know how to respond. It was so weird. I was just like, well, I mean, it's pretty irresponsible. Wouldn't recommend that. Shouldn't promote it. But I mean, you do you, I guess. But whatever floats your boat, you know. And eventually it just got to a point where I was like, at the end of the day, like, fucking hell. I'm more focused on the irresponsible things you do that harm others. You know, I don't really care too much about the irresponsible things you do that harm yourself. That's for another time. And yes, Togi the bodybuilder. I don't even know who he is. I no fucking clue who he was. Apparently he knew who I was, but I didn't know who he was. And, you know, there's just like a couple points there where I was sitting down with Togi, Brad, and Steiny, and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? I was like, what is this conversation? Like, why? Like, I was like, is this the downfall of Dean? Is this where Dean starts to fall off? You know, I was like, shit, this is where Dean starts to fall off. But nonetheless, you know, that's kind of how that went. Then Emily came back in, and like I was just really done with Emily. I didn't really want to talk to her anymore. I mean, push come to shove, she just wanted to talk more shit, spew more rhetoric because she's fucking stupid. I just let her know that she's absolutely stupid. But at the end, I actually I think I almost made her cry. And the reason I say that was because she came back from like her 30-minute rage quit into the studio, and she was so flustered and mad at me for calling her stupid. Like, she went on like this whole tangent about how like that's the rhetoric that lost the Democrats the election, just calling, right, all of these Republicans like stupid and dumb and whatnot. I mean, she set me up for the goddamn slam dunk because she just got done telling us how words are words. She literally does not give a shit if she tells someone to self-unalive and they do, because words are just words. She literally doesn't give a shit of a Nazi like slurs a Jewish individual because words are just words. She doesn't care what the hell she says because words are just words. So then I absolutely dig into her. I'm like, okay, words are just words. You don't give a shit at all unless they harm you. And then she was like, well, they were insulting. They were insulting. You insulted me. It's like, oh, so words are only bad if they insult Emily fucking Wilson. Got it. And like she looked like she was about to fucking cry because she knew that she had lost the point. Like, she looks so bad. I cannot wait to watch that. I can't. I really can't wait to watch that. But that's about how that went. I'd say like the only productive conversations I had there at all was with Bradley Martin. Surprisingly. I start talking to Brad about like abortion, Roe v. Wade, and why I don't think that it should be left up to the states, but why I rather think it should be protected by the federal government. And he straight up said, well, shit, I can't argue against that. So it was interesting. Chat, what does anyone know anything about Bradley Martin? Has he done anything that's like exemplarily like bad? I just like apart from like being like existing in like that realm of the internet. Has Bradley Martin done anything like bad? Slapped Ronaldo? Yeah. No, don't think so. No? He's just like LA ripped white guy that supports Trump. See, maybe I want to talk to Bradley more. See, now I maybe okay, cool. Maybe now I want to talk to Bradley more. He's been accused of talking to underage girls? Okay. Well, yeah, I got to look into that now. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, if that's true, then maybe not. Yeah, it's pretty fucked. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, well, if it is true, that's obviously bad. Let's see here. Look it up, yeah. Anyway, so that's how that went. And the funniest part of it all was I actually filmed a TikTok with Emily before it started. Y'all want to see it? Oh no. It's sitting in my drafts right now. This is sitting in my drafts, just waiting until like I want to like finish it or something. Like it's literally just sitting in my drafts. Y'all got to see this shit. Let me I'm working on full screening it because I don't want to like show anything else on my computer or anything. All right, blah. Why is there no audio? Where the fuck is the audio? Give me a second. Oh no, where's the audio, man? Okay, listen, I need to figure out the audio first. Why is that not playing the audio? With what reason?
This time that she's essentially pro.
Ah, there we go.
I'm here with.
There we go. We got the audio. Let's turn this bad boy around again. I have it super up close because I have all like my text and shit behind it. One second, I'm actually just gonna cover the camera while I hover my mouse over where it's supposed to be. A lot of private material.
Guys, it's Dean. I'm here with Emily Saves America, and we're gonna have a second debate right now. And if you don't remember Emily, she's the one that told us last time that she's essentially pro-slavery. Are you excited for a conversation?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Wow. Me neither.
And anyways, so that was like right before the conversation unfolded. She was like already pissed off, like in a bad mood. And I'm thinking I'll probably like send that one out soon. But like, God, I'm never talking to that vermin again. Someone in the chat said, well, she seems nice. Bro, the video started with her flipping me off. Hello? Like, that was before we had even exchanged words. She was already flipping me off. But, like, I'm never going to talk to that vermin again. Evil. Evil, bro. She's evil. She's evil. Emily Wilson is evil. She's not nice. She's evil. Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, she just had like a complete, total, and utter crash out. And like, you know, once this does go live, like, I'm not gonna tell you guys to go watch it. Like, you'll just get mad. You're not gonna learn anything. You're not gonna take any value away from the conversation. you're just gonna get like pissed off. Your cortisol levels are just gonna increase. Like I'm telling you, your cortisol levels are just gonna increase. The worst conversation I've ever had. Sometimes I just wish I had like a crystal ball. Yo, Taylor! Thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. Again, kindly, can I get a follow? Perchance. I appreciate you for the $10. And Briar, thank you so much for the motorcycle. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, but what's someone saying in the chat? Shock value influencer disguised as a political debater. Yeah, well, honestly, I don't even think that Emily has a platform because of shock value. Because like she doesn't just go around saying that she's pro-slavery. I just logically reduced her to that. I think that she just has words. She's good with words, but not even like in the context of debate, just with like rhetoricing her way to a vibe, bro. She's good like with like using good rhetoric for the vibes. Like she'll just be like, well, on the right we have common sense, this, that, and another, whatever the fuck, you know, and she'll be able to construct a statement. It's just like really like about the vibes, you know. It's she's annoying. When does the video come out? Hopefully like next week. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Is it the same mod? Well, he wasn't like a mod this time. He just like debated me too. So he just like fully endorsed debate Dean. Like it was a 1v3. It was a little much. It was a little much. Won't lie. It was a little much. You know, I was in a mod last time? Yeah. I mean, he was just like more debatey this time, so. Dan, when's your birthday? September 1st, 2004. That's right. Do you think they'll edit it to make you look bad? Yeah. Maybe. I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty good at describing what I want to say in a way that can't be taken out of context to look bad. I'm fairly good at that. Every once in a while, I'll like have a slip and you'll be able to like edit something I say out of context and it looks bad. But like that's like very rare. Like, in fact, I don't know if it's like really ever happened since like I've started doing this like full time. Like I don't know. Can you guys like think of like a clip of me in a debate where like I look especially bad? Like I can't. Like it's just like avoiding getting clipped. It's a skill. It is. Yeah. So that's why I am okay with going on other people's shows like that. Because if they edit it to make me look bad, it won't even like make me look bad. It'll just make the video boring. Because it'll just be like some like insane individual saying their insane shit for 2 hours straight. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Guys. Oh, do I think TikTok will get banned? No, I don't. I'm actually very optimistic that it won't. I am incredibly optimistic that it will not get banned. Fun fact. Yo! Yvonne! Thank you so much for the $25 on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Yvonne. That is incredibly kind of you. Yvonne says, hey, Dean, it's always good to see you. It's good to see you as well, Yvonne. How you been? So the reason I don't think it's going to get banned... So I listened to the oral arguments. The entire thing this morning. I listened to it all with the Supreme Court. It sounded like the justices had a really good response. If you want to infringe upon speech, it has to be the last option available to achieve any given goal. And what the TikTok lawyer was arguing was that there's other options that don't infringe upon speech that are available, like implementation of policy to prevent TikTok US from sharing critical user data with ByteDance in China. And I think like that argument will end up holding some water. So we'll see. Plus, like, let's be real. Donald Trump has some influence over the justices. 4 of the 9 justices voted for him not to be sentenced for his felonies. Under what legal precedent should someone that breaks the law, gets convicted of breaking the law, not be sentenced? Under what legal precedent? Like, what? Literally, I can't think of like a legal argument for that. But yet, 4 of those justices voted for him not to be sentenced just because he's Trump and they're MAGA droids that follow his command and bow their knee. And now that we're presented with this TikTok ban, where there actually is really good legal arguments that it shouldn't be banned, and Donald Trump doesn't want them to ban it the same way he didn't want them to sentence him, I think we could see a majority decision 5-4 to place a stay on the ban until after Trump's inauguration, or just to reject it outright. I mean, I'd actually love... So, does Harry think that it will get banned? Should I go on Harry's stream right now and go talk to him about it? Harry said the complete opposite. Yes. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's go on Harry's stream. Everybody, go to @HarryJSisson on TikTok. I'm going to go talk to him about this. See what he thinks. Harry said the opposite. Harry does not agree with you. Bro, okay. I want y'all to spam debate Dean in his chat. I'm going to debate his ass. I'm being dead. I'm being very serious. I disagree. I think that there's an incredibly reasonable position that it won't get banned. Like, so there's like betting markets, where like poly markets, where if you bet $1, if you bet $1 that TikTok's not gonna, like 4. Like, the betting odds are like 80-20 TikTok gets banned to not getting banned. I'm actually thinking about betting like a good amount of money on the fact that it won't get banned. Just because like I'm weirdly certain about this one. But everybody go to Harry's account @HarryJSisson. I'm gonna be there shortly. I will see you all soon. I'm gonna go debate Harry. Spam debate Dean in his chat. I will see you all soon.